Hello, my name is Chris Pate of Mobile Toys Inc. in College Station, Texas. I'd like to tell you thank you for taking this time to look at my Installer of the Year submission for 2017. And now, this is my main vehicle entry. This is a Cadillac Escalade named Insomnia. Every project starts with a vision. It's the driving force that brings forth the design of any project you are passionate about. The 2013 Cadillac Escalade we have named Insomnia is just that. We set out with a goal to produce a vehicle that could do high SPL numbers, have world-class sound quality, and also deliver show-stopping looks. It is over the top in every aspect while maintaining the class you expect from a Cadillac. This project encompassed all of our techniques, design practices, and engineering that we have developed over the years. When we design a project, we want to create a complete audio experience as well as a custom interior that is consistent and exciting from front to back. We design all our parts in AutoCAD ahead of time. This allows us to avoid many of the pitfalls in the build-as-you-go mentality. We can insert all of our fasteners and design each panel as such. It also allows us to create each panel as an assembly that can be easily built and serviced. The vehicle started as your typical Cadillac Escalade ESV. The SUV started with a factory sunroof, which we promptly removed. We welded up the openings and added new sheet metal. At this point, we braced the entire roof with new metal bracing that would keep the large sheet metal roof from flexing under high SPL numbers. After 3 layers of dampening material was added and the new sheet metal was bodyworked and painted, the new install began. The electrical system was completely upgraded starting under the hood. We added 4 350 amp alternators with a custom-built CNC bracket. 3 of these alternators would power the rear battery bank in the spare tire location, while the 4th would power the forward batteries under the hood. To make sure we get optimal current transfer to all the batteries, we machined a quad alternator bracket that allows us to connect 4 2-aught runs to each alternator output. For the alternators that power the front batteries, we sent 2 2-aught runs to each battery. For the rear bank, we were able to send 12 2-aught runs to them. For power distribution at each of the front batteries, we machined terminal blocks that attach directly to the positive and negative post and had the fuses integrated into them. This allows us to power everything in the front of the car, including the sound quality system, safely and correctly. Now we were faced with the challenge of mounting the rear battery rack. We built a new rack that was designed from CAD and built from C-channel metal beams and welded directly to the vehicle. The batteries were inverted and secured using 1/4-inch plate steel. The pieces have been machined on a water jet and are marked to designate which post is positive and negative. Once done, the substructure was coated in POR 15 undercoating and the mounting plates were coated in bed liner. Now that the battery rack was built and in place, with the batteries mounted securely, we were faced with our biggest challenge: how to connect each battery in parallel in such a way that was organized, allowed for maximum current transfer, and would allow us to fuse each input and output. To accomplish this, we machined a bus bar system that allows us to connect each of the negative posts while connecting each of the positive posts with a mirror image of the previous. The only difference is the positive post bracket floats above the negative by 1/2 inch. In that 1/2 inch, they are separated by plexiglass. The entire assembly is protected by a piece of 1-inch bulletproof plexiglass. The enclosure was the first piece to be built. The box is a computer-modeled 4th-order bandpass using a 1-to-1 ratio for 12 Crossfire 15-inch subs. The enclosure was CNC cut from 1.5-inch Baltic birch. The pieces were assembled in the truck behind the C-pillar. We finished out the inside of the sealed and ported chambers with cat skin leather. Inside the sealed chambers, we wanted to add viewing windows. To accomplish this, we used a water jet to cut 2-inch bulletproof Lexan plexiglass and bolted it into place using grade 8 bolts. Throughout the enclosure, we added accents in etched mirrored plexiglass bearing the name Insomnia and backlit the entire thing in blue lighting. This is the theme that we would carry throughout the entire vehicle. From here, we built the custom amp rack in the ceiling in the SUV. This rack is constructed from 1/2-inch by 1-inch tube steel that is welded to the cross bracings in the ceiling. Each amp is mounted directly to that steel. It has been tapped and threaded and use threaded bolts instead of sheet metal screws. The rear amp rack is located behind the sub enclosure and was constructed in the same way. Now that the amps were securely in place, we cut away the parts of the headliner that covered the 6 sound quality amplifiers. With the headliner reinstalled, we designed and machined a cover for our amp rack. This was designed in CAD and cut on our CNC from 1/2-inch PVC plastic. The panel also serves as the mount for our overhead console, which houses 2 SMD voltage gauges and 6 Stinger voltage gauges. All have been flush mounted and trimmed in mirrored plexiglass. We used mirrored plexiglass throughout the install to give the same finish as chrome trim. The headliner was wrapped in suede and the amp cover was wrapped in catskin leather. It is lit in blue light. The rear amp rack cover panels were constructed from 1/4-inch PVC. that we heat formed to conform to the curves of the back hatch area. To give the amp rack a special touch, we added the first of 2 infinity mirrors. The one located here allowed us to brand the install with the Mobile Toys name. Located on the rear subamps, you can see the custom machine blocks that allow each of the 6 amps to connect 9 0-gauge powers and 9 0-gauge grounds. This also serves as the distribution point between the hybrid cat bank located behind the amps and the lower battery rack. Our next challenge was creating custom door panels for the doors. They needed to be unique and one of a kind. The front doors house 2 sets of 3 Whz components and 1 8-inch sub, while the rear ones hold 3 single 6.5-inch components. We began by drawing a computer model of each of the front and rear doors. We designed a mount that would completely hide the speakers while allowing them to play unimpeded. The new panel gives the illusion that it is floating in front of the door panel. We machined all the parts for the door panels from 1/2-inch PVC plastic and 1/2-inch plexiglass. We cut release for neodymium magnets in our grills and sandwich plexiglass. This allows us to remove the grills easily and hide all the fasteners for the new panel below. The door panels are attached using original factory mounting bolts, as well as 6 1/4x20 stainless steel bolts that we have added for extra strength. For the speaker grills, we designed a custom grill mesh that was cut out of 1/4-inch plexiglass. This hexagonal pattern we cut on our CNC laser is repeated throughout the entire install. We edge lit every piece of blue acrylic with blue LEDs. We wrapped the new base panel in tan catskin leather, and the speaker mount and grills were wrapped in the dark mocha color leather of the top of the dash. For the sound quality portion of our system, we created a one-of-a-kind visual and oral experience. The front stage consists of a left and right dash enclosure that are home to a set of Illusion Audio C4 components, as well as a center channel that houses a set of Illusion Audio C3 components. To build the left and right enclosure, we began by taping off the entire dash and covering it in plastic. We hand-laid fiberglass to create a mold of the dash and windshield. These 2 molds serve as the back of the left and right enclosure. While the molds set, we designed the front baffles in AutoCAD. We laser cut each part of the assembly ahead of time. This allows us a level of precision that cannot be duplicated by hand fabrication. It also speeds up production time for complicated assemblies. This is a process you will see that I employ in all of my builds. Once the assemblies were completed and machined, we built the front baffles and grills. The grills were built using the same process as on the doors. With the baffles built, we aligned them using lasers so that each would be a mirror image of the other. The baffles were attached to the fiberglass using 3M panel bond. Once this set, we removed the molds and cut away the excess fiberglass. We filled and shaped the remaining pieces to create the final enclosures. We were careful to block each piece and polyprime them. This seals up the assembly, as well as allowing us to see any shape imperfections and correct them. From here, we designed our assembly for the center channel. The center channel required us to cut and remove a section of the center dash. We were very careful to check for any underlying wiring, vents, or safety features. Once we cut away the center section of the dash, we cut and assembled our speaker baffle. The baffle was then attached to the dash using panel bond. The grill assembly designed using our tried and true method was used in this as well. At this point, we cut the grill using our laser. The parts were assembled and gapped to fit the fine curves of the dash. Once it was sanded, we polyprimed it as well. All the parts of the dash were wrapped in dark mocha catskin leather. This matched the original factory leather color on the top of the dash. The custom grills are edge lit in blue LEDs, and we were careful to continue backing all of our grills with black grill cloth. That way you weren't able to see the drivers below, and it would give a consistent look for all the speakers in the vehicle. Staying in the dash area, we wanted to add a large touchscreen panel and an Apple CarPlay radio. For the panel, we used a 10-inch Asus tablet, and for the radio, we used a Kenwood DDX 9903. To gain the space we needed for the tablet, we moved the AC controls down into the center console. With the AC controls out of the way, we now have the space for the new radio location. We began by test fitting the location. Once we knew it would fit, we designed and CNC cut a new bracket at a 1/2-inch plexiglass. This bracket would allow the radio to mount into the original subdash using the mounting holes from the AC. From here, we designed the tablet dock. The dock employs magnets to hold the tablet into place. To release the tablet, we used a 2-inch linear actuator. This allowed the tablet to sit flush from edge to edge. The assembly was machined from 1/2-inch PVC on our CNC. We cut away the center section of the factory radio bezel and bonded the dock and trim into place. At this point, we sanded and shaped the new dash, careful to retain the stock shapes and body lines. Once we were done, we took this panel and the other panels that were originally wood grain in the vehicle and polyprimed them, prepping them to be dipped in a hydro dip machine in a carbon fiber print. We dipped each panel, paying close attention to line up the pieces of carbon fiber. After we clear coated each piece, wet sanded, and polished them, making them have a deep finish that was beautiful. The final piece for Insomnia was the new custom console, which connects the lower dash and the rear sub box. The console houses the Mosconi 8-12 aerospace processor, Mosconi RCD, AC controls, auxiliary switches for light and actuator, and a large infinity mirror. We began our process just like every other. We started by drawing the entire console as a complete mechanical assembly in AutoCAD. We wanted to extend the lines of the lower dash all the way down the sides of the console. This would create the bolsters you see on each side of the radio bezel, but extend them down the sides of the console. In the center of the console, we would add an infinity mirror, cup holders, processor mount, and switch panel, as well as the AC controls. Each section is its own independent assembly. The first section to be machined was the main structure and bolsters. The main structure is built from 1/2-inch PVC, while the side bolsters are built from 2 layers of 1/2-inch PVC that have been stacked and shaped on the router table. Once assembled, we created the center features. The first was the infinity mirror panel that also incorporates the cup holders. The assembly was machined on the CNC. The infinity mirror created a hologram that tells everyone the name of the truck, Insomnia. Within the hologram, you can see the hexagonal patterns from the speaker grills as they extend off into space. The next piece we built is the processor mount, which is created from laser cut base shapes, curved 1/2-inch PVC, and 2-part foam. The upper shapes of the processor cover and the infinity mirrors cover were both machined on the laser and shaped using the SFS animal. This allowed us to create a 3D shape that you see here. The final panel built was the switch panel and the AC shroud. This was created in the same process. We created a removable trim that allows us to service the switches and processor control below. Once finished, we built the most stunning vehicle that we have ever created. This is a project that encompasses all 3 phases of custom car audio. It is part sound quality vehicle, part SPL vehicle, part show truck, and all the way over the top. When building a custom interior, there are many vehicle systems which may need to be altered or modified to allow you to achieve the desired look and performance in your design. This interior we built in this 2012 Nissan Titan is a great example of integrating with those electrical systems. Our customer wanted to build a symmetrical dash to maximize the sound quality of his truck. One of the many systems we would have to move is the gauge cluster. Since we were moving it, we decided it was time to replace it with the Dakota Digital aftermarket gauge cluster. This required us to integrate with every single vehicle wiring that connects to that factory cluster. When we moved the cluster and built the new dash, it was also part of our design to build custom door panels for this interior. To alleviate the need for factory door releases, we integrated solenoids on the door release cable. These are triggered when you push the silver machined insert on the door. When you push the machined insert, it triggers a momentary switch below that energizes the relay and triggers the solenoid to open the door. Another vehicle system that we moved while building the dash was the climate controls. This required us to solder and extend over 75 leads one by one to give us the link to reach the overhead console where it would live. While building the new overhead console, we also deleted the stock map lights and dome lights. Every vehicle needs a courtesy light, so we integrated a new overhead dome light into the new console using white LEDs. With any audio system, organized wiring is the key to integrating and operating the system at its maximum potential. With this 2014 Toyota 4Runner, we wanted to make sure that each wire was carefully routed to avoid any potential shorts or to pick up any noises along the signal path. When we wire an amp rack, we take the time to label all of our signal leads as well as identifying each amplifier that drives the speakers. This makes it easy for us in the long term to service the customer's vehicle quickly and safely without guessing. Labeling your wiring and system components alleviates the guesswork and lets you get it right. That way you do not have to test and figure out which amp you're driving and which amp you're working on. We've all been pulled over by a police officer driving one of these Dodge Chargers. Most people do not realize the amount of operational integration and 12-volt electrical work that is required to install the aftermarket systems used to keep the public and the officers safe. We have a contract to install and program all the aftermarket safety and communication systems for our county sheriff's and constable cars. All these installs require certifications from Panasonic, Motorola, and Extreme Wire organizations. In this one, we started by installing a Panasonic Arbitrator HD camera system. The camera records both the officer and the suspect during a traffic stop, using multiple cameras inside the interceptor and on the officer. The camera can be triggered using a myriad of 12-volt triggers, which we program. Ours are programmed to be triggered when the wheel and light bar is activated by its sapphire control box in the rear of the vehicle. It can also be triggered at the DVR or by the officer via wireless remote. The next system we installed is the wheel and overhead light bar and sapphire control box. This system triggers all the different LED lights you see on the top of a police car, as well as integrating the vehicle's police interceptor lights installed in the headlights and taillights. It's important to make sure you tag the correct wire for this. Any incorrect wiring can cause any of a myriad of vehicle data systems to fail. All police interceptor packages have wiring specifically dedicated to these systems and is sent that way from the factory. The next system we installed is the Motorola wireless modem and two-way radio. These systems allow the officer to be connected and have constant contact with the station and receive important information during stops. The radio interfaces with the wheel and light bar during allowing the officer to hear the radio over the exterior speakers during a stop. The final piece we installed is the tablet mount and docking station. The tablet and docking station is integrated with the arbitrator system and the wireless modem, allowing the officer to review any recordings and receive and review important information on screen during stops. Every single system on these cars is interconnected and must be installed correctly with the utmost care to ensure that they work properly. When we build a custom interior for a client, we strive to design and engineer a look that is bold and exciting. The design we build will carry a complete theme and color palette from the front to the back of the vehicle. We will carry our design cues and shapes throughout the install, creating a beautiful interior that excites the customer. On this 1967 Chevy C10, we sat down ahead of time with our client and worked on sketches for the doors and trim panels, as well as a color scheme that the customer loved. For our base color, we chose Cellar Brown Vinyl. For the secondary color, we chose a light mocha suede. The machined inserts seen throughout the install would be designed in AutoCAD and cut on the laser CNC. They would in turn be routered, sanded, and painted in silver metallic paint to give them the look of aluminum. With the parameters set, we turned on our computers and began our designs. Just like with our other projects, this one would begin in AutoCAD. It allows us to change and adjust the shapes easily and quickly. In turn, it allows us to prototype very quickly. We began with the console, which was designed to flow from front to back. It would start at the bottom of the sub box and extend to the bottom of the dash. The console has a storage compartment, which also doubles as an armrest, as well as a cup holder, switch panel, and Moscani RCD controller. The switch panel, cup holder, and Moscani controller are trimmed in CNC cut plexiglass that has been painted silver metallic as well. The console's base color is Cellar Brown, and the armrest is wrapped in a mocha suede. Along the sides of the console, we integrated our silver metallic trim inserts with a build-up and a flush-in. In the center of each insert, we wrapped it with mocha suede. On the kicks, we would need to have grills that allowed the sound to reach the driver. The base pieces were cut and the openings were chamfered with a 45-degree chamfer. We used our same trim method as before, but in the openings, we pressed our own grills using aluminum hexagonal mesh. Under each seat is a 4-channel Moscani amp, and behind the seat is a custom enclosure with 4 8-inch focal subs. To allow the amps to breathe and the downfiring subs to reach the listener's ears, we machined lower trim panels that wrap around the seat mounts. These were wrapped in Cellar Brown vinyl and trimmed exactly like the kick panels. Moving to the doors, we needed to tie in designs from the rest of the truck as well as our custom seats and dash pad. The doors are built completely from PVC plastic, just like everything else in our install. They are computer designed and CNC cut to allow the use of magnets and fasteners for easy serviceability and longevity. On the top of the doors, we use the same insert method as we did on the kicks and lower seat trim, but we deleted the silver metallic trims and only did a suede insert. This ties the doors into the seats and dash pad. On the armrest, we machined it to mimic the sides of the center console using metallic trim and a suede base. On the lower door panel, we have 2 Focal 6.5-inch mid-base drivers. So we built a removable grille that is machined to be similar in finish as the kicks and the lower seat trim. As you can see, we have built a beautiful interior that is consistent in finish and trim from front to back. Everything is easily serviceable and designed to last the test of time because of our computer designs, CNC machining, composite material, magnets, and stainless fasteners. Another fantastic example of cosmetic integration and fabrication skills is the 1968 Roadrunner we built for Unleashed Customs. The car came to us as a shell. We started by designing a color scheme for the vehicle that would entail black catskin leather as the base and dark gray suede inserts with gloss black trim inserts. As with all of our designs, they begin in the computer using CAD. We machined our panels starting with a base of 1/4-inch PVC that is heat formed to the shape of the door. Each of the inserts is a build-up to the plexiglass trim. The base insert is trimmed in gray suede. On the lower part of the panel, we etched in the shop's logo and name. For the armrest, we water jet the base from a shape of 1/4-inch aluminum and stacked 2 layers of 1/2-inch PVC on top. The trim panels are all held on with stainless fasteners, nutserts, and neo magnets. On the console, we kept the same theme but needed to integrate in window switches and a cup holder. To tie this into the custom seats, we stitched and machined the top of the custom console as a separate insert and wrapped it in suede. The sides of the console are wrapped as a one piece in black leather. This matches the seat perfectly. To bring in the gloss black trim, we added a relief at the back of the console and a trim around the cup holders. Moving to the rear quarter panels, you can see the same concept, design, and finish as the front doors. The shapes move consistently from front to back and make the car look as it's moving fast even though it is sitting still. In the trunk, we needed a clean and consistent finish that comprised our same finishing technique while allowing the audio equipment to live and work. The entire trunk is constructed from PVC plastic and it fits perfectly. The finished product is stunning. The interior and audio system accent the beauty of this hot rod without taking away from what the car really is. This vehicle is an example of a purpose-built car where each panel, component, and material choice has been specifically designed to augment the system and the listener's experience. To begin, we have completely modified the car to build this audio system and interior. We moved the seat and steering to the center of the car to allow us to build the speaker array that exists on the left and the right. To do this, we cut out the exhaust tunnel and welded it flat. When these mods were complete, we removed all the climate controls and other vehicle systems that would not be retained. The goal with this car is to create an ultimate in-car listening experience using 2-channel audio. The source unit that drives the system is a Sony RSX GS9. We actually have our head unit hidden and really use it more as a digital to analog converter. In the steering wheel, we installed an iPhone that runs the Sony's app for controlling the GS9 head unit. The system is processed by the Mosconi 6-8 V8 processor. It sends signal to 4 Mosconi 0 amps located in the front floorboard on the left and right of the listener. These amps drive the Focal Ultima components and a pair of Focal Kevlar subs. We began by building speaker enclosures on the left and the right from Baltic birch. Each driver was laser aligned for optimal performance. The cabinets reside behind a custom fiberglass dash that was built to be completely invisible to the soundstage. The front speakers are designed to mimic the Focal Sopra home cabinets. We've gone as far as integrating the orange color from these cabinets throughout the entire install. As with all of our builds, we use a consistent material and design on all our finishes from the front to the rear of the vehicle. The amps are located in each side of the floor under false floor pieces that can be removed for ease of serviceability. Each amp is trimmed in painted plexi trims and edgelit in white light. Each door is designed to flow from front to back, connecting to the front dash and blending into the rear side quarter panel. They are wrapped in black catskin and orange catskin leather. For the listener, we designed a custom-built seat that is inlaid with memory foam to isolate you from the soundstage. It is also trimmed in those same leathers. In the rear of the Civic resides 2 Focal Kevlar 12-inch subs. These subs are in a Baltic birch cabinet that is a sealed 2.5 cubic foot enclosure. The process we used on this vehicle is the same as the process in all our other vehicles. When done, we have created the ultimate in-car listening experience, a system that is amazing and functional and creates an ultimate soundstage. We also have a fully functional center drive car, which makes it even more unique. This 2012 GMC Denali came to us from Dallas, Texas for a sound quality upgrade. We designed a system with the customer that would be consistent in purpose while beautifying the interior. We designed and machined all the base panels in our same consistent fashion using AutoCAD and our CNC. For the front stage, we chose the Hybrid Audio 3-inch mid-range, a hybrid SE2 tweeter, Illusion Audio Carbon 8-inch mid-bass drivers, and a JL Audio 12W6 V3 sub. Since the drivers did not match in look and finish, we chose to hide the 8-inch driver and the 12-inch driver behind grills that were backed with black grill cloth. To power the system, we chose two Audison amps, a Voce 4 and 5.1. For the processor, we employed a Helix MK2 Pro, and for the source, we chose a Sony RSX GS9 head unit. Since high-res music was the customer's main focus for this, it was the obvious choice. He wanted to retain his stock navigation and overhead screen. This means the new sound system would run as a standalone unit. For the front stage, we built custom dash pods and kick panels. The kick panels and pods are constructed from fiberglass and PVC plastic. Both are wrapped in black leather and have a copper trim inset into the gloss black trim. The kick panels also have custom pressed grills. The source unit and processor control have been integrated into the factory console. We deleted the forward tray section of the console and machined a new mount from plexiglass. The processor display was machined and cut from PVC plastic to inset the controller into the armrest and console. Both are trimmed in gloss black plexi that has a copper trim. Moving to the rear of the vehicle, we employed the passenger rear quarter panel as a location for the system's fuse holders. The cover is built from PVC plastic and wrapped in black leather. It is held on with neodymium magnets. It also employs the same fashion of trim that we've used everywhere else, a black base trim with a copper inset. The rear of the SUV is home to the amplifiers and subwoofer enclosure. The enclosure and subwoofer rack are constructed from MDF. The subwoofer lives in a 1.25 cubic foot sealed enclosure. It is flanked on each side by the amplifiers. All the components are mounted using knife head nutserts and threaded bolts. The customer was very particular that he did not want to give up the third row of seats. It was a challenge, but we were able to fit everything behind those seats. Each amp is trimmed in a stair-step waterfall cover that employs layers of PVC wrapped in black leather, trimmed in black plexi that has a copper inset. At the base of those trims, we inset a piece of 1/8-inch clear plexi that is edge-lit with green LEDs. For the subwoofer, we built a very unique grill built from multiple layers of 3/4-inch PVC that we stack fabbed using our router to cut each piece from the base shapes. Once assembled, we shaped them with a large sweep bit and a 45-degree chamfer. The entire grill was wrapped in black leather. We employed the same trim method as with the amps and pressed our own custom grills. The look and sound of this truck is stunning. The customer did not have to sacrifice space or factory convenience features while still attaining the goals of producing a world-class sound quality vehicle. For this F-250, our customer wanted to conserve as much space as possible. We built a custom enclosure that houses an Illusion Audio 10-inch sub and a Mascani AS 200.4 amp. We integrated the factory ruby red metallic paint and both the tan and mocha leather colors to create beautiful color contrast between the two body lines. The entire assembly bolts into the original factory mount of the lower storage tray. We built the trunk for this 1957 Bel Air completely from PVC plastic. We used our same machining process by beginning with the design that we created in AutoCAD. We then machined each one of the panels on our CNC, carefully taking each one of those panels to the router and machining them with a 45-degree inch chamfer. The upper part of the panels were wrapped in tan leather. The base panels were wrapped in a light tan leather. This amp rack was designed because it needed to be functional as well as beautiful. We built a steel substructure in the spare tire well to mount the 3 ARC SE amps. The trim panel above was cut from 3/4-inch PVC plastic. To create the light effect in the plexiglass above the amps, we etched the pattern we used on the front speaker grills into the bottom of the plexi. We also incorporated our logo as well. With the white LEDs lit, it appears that the logo and the pattern are floating above the amplifiers. This supercar needed a super sound system. With limited space, we built a custom enclosure behind the receipt for an Illusion Audio 10-inch sub. We trimmed the sub in yellow leather to match the exterior. In the trunk, we built a waterfall amp rack that has been accented with yellow leather, grill mesh, and white LED lighting. Custom enclosure we built here houses a Rockford Fosgate P3 sub and 2 Power Series amplifiers. The box is constructed using stack fab techniques, so it will contour to the shape of the seat. We trimmed the amps in gloss black plexi that has an outer lip of aluminum and an inner trim of mirrored plexi. We inset the Denali logo into the front of the box using the same trim method and incorporated our logo into the box. Around the outside edge, we matched the double stitching that is on the seat. Leather for the box is an exact match to the factory leather used on these seats. The amp rack in this wakeboard boat needed to be able to take a beating on the water while keeping the amp safe and organized. We designed the whole assembly in CAD and machined all the parts out of aluminum on a water jet. The parts were bolted together using stainless fasteners and hardware. The rack bolts into the boat on each edge of the fiberglass of the seat. The cover of the amps is machined from starboard and plexiglass. We built this entire dashboard using the existing dash as a base. We created new shapes using PVC plastic and fiberglass. The design was taken from the customer's 2013 F250. He wanted to integrate his engine programmer as well as a large touchscreen panel for radio, navigation, and entertainment. Once we were finished shaping and building the dash, we stitched and wrapped it in Elite leather. On this project, we needed a grille that would allow the subbase to escape the hatch where we had installed 2 JL Audio 13W7 subs. We designed this grille in SolidWorks and then machined the base sections on our CNC. The grille is wrapped in black marine vinyl. The grille mesh is 1/8 inch black plexi that was cut on a laser. We backed it with grill cloth and attached it to the door with stainless bolts that were inlaid into the PVC plastic before we finished shaping. Our customer wanted to modify his original door panels to house a pair of Illusion Audio Carbon 6s on each side. We cut away the center sections of the lower door panels and created a new overlay from 1/4 inch PVC plastic. The PVC was heat formed to contour to the shapes of the doors. We backed each speaker grille opening with aluminum mesh and grill cloth. Each overlay is bolted to the door using integrated bolts that are actually molded into the panel. This was an interesting challenge. Our customer wanted 2 bucket seats installed in the rear of his 2012 F250, while also adding a custom console to house a pair of 12-inch Focal subs. Instead of ordering new seats, we decided to cut the existing seats apart and weld them back together. We deleted the center section of the seat. Once this was done, we shaped new foam and stitched up new seat covers. This allowed us to build the custom console that you see in the pictures, which houses the 2 12-inch Focal subwoofers. On this project, we needed to retain the factory functionality while executing an amazing sounding install. The A-pillars house a Dyne Audio SOTAR mid and tweeter. The assembly was created with a base of PVC plastic and then an edge of PVC plastic. We laser cut and machined our own custom grills. By layering the pieces together and then molding them into the A-pillar, we were able to create this amazing looking piece. The same design was taken to the grille and the rear deck of the car, which covers the Dyne Audio SOTAR 11-inch subs, which are built into an infinite baffle enclosure in the rear of the trunk. For the source unit, we retained the factory nav and relocated the factory CD transport to the rear of the car. This allowed us the space to install the Sony RSX GS9 head unit. Our customer wanted to update his 22-year-old truck with a custom interior that had all the creature comforts of his new truck. We added the Alpine 9-inch Restyle head unit into a custom dash that we built. We remote mounted all the switches and controls to the center console. This gave the old truck GPS, navigation, USB, Bluetooth, iPod control, and DVD video. The customer also needed a computer to govern the new Cummins turbo diesel that he had installed. To do this, we integrated an Edge engine controller into the remolded gauge cluster. Now, engine management is always within view and easy to maintain. For this 2004 Chevy Suburban, our customer wanted to add a Sony RSX GS9 head unit as a hideaway digital to analog converter for his music collection. We reworked the rear of the console and flushed in the new Sony head unit while also adding 2 docking stations for his 2 iPads. The first iPad that is located closest to the driver is for his music collection. This armrest dock also holds the controls for the Mosconi processor and custom built remote that controls the Sony head unit. In the forward dash, we added a second iPad for navigation and track information only. Since we deleted the gauges in this vehicle while building the dash, we added an Edge engine management computer to read all the vehicle diagnostics and output our vehicle gauge information. My installation education started when I was 13 years old, sitting in the driveway of my dad's house, putting a Pioneer cassette deck in his S10 pickup. My father believed the best way to do anything was just jump right in with both feet and just get started on it. Put your hands to work and, see where it takes you. So that's been my mantra my entire career. I learned a lot as I grew up, going through high school, wiring up, friends, radios, amplifiers, building boxes in my parents' garage, stuff of that nature. When I graduated from high school, I got a chance to go and work at Circuit City while I was getting my undergrad degree at Texas A&M University in College Station, Texas. So it was at Circuit City I had my first real training. They actually trained you. They showed you how to wire up radio harnesses. They showed you how to do an alarm install correctly, amp installs, speaker installs. They showed you the basics of how to do the job correctly. And it was fantastic. It was a fantastic job, a great experience. After being there for 4 or 5 years, I was an S&I manager, and I'd really gotten into custom work and wanted to pursue that and go into cardio competitions. So I felt like it was time for a change, and I moved over to audio video, which audio video would ultimately become Mobile Toys years later. While I was at audio video, I worked there for 5 years, and it was a fantastic experience. I helped them open up their cardio only division, did some installation trainings with JL Audio and various other vendors, but no real formal training other than that at that point. It was towards the end of there that I decided it was time for me to move on, and I went to Car Toys of Tulsa. I went there because I was building a car with Gary Biggs, and I wanted to learn more installation practices from him. So that was my real reason for going there. It was a fantastic experience working there. And the great thing was working with Gary Biggs every day and getting that hands-on learning experience where you learned how to gap panels, how to build panels, how to design and shape, and to look for what lines to use in your install. So that was a fantastic 3 years. But after 3 years, I was ready to come home. So as it turned out, Audio Video wanted to sell Mobile Toys, and I wanted to move back to College Station. So me and my best friend bought it. We moved back here to College Station. And at that point there, we had the store that we had always wanted. And so I was really happy about it. And there wasn't any real installation training for me at that point. There was a couple mobile solutions trainings that happened down in Houston I went to, and it was fantastic. And it was towards I'd say the end of the last 8 years, I guess about a year and a half ago, that I finally took my first formal installation training class at Mobile Solutions. I got to go be a part of the all-star build crew that was up there. And we decided we'd try to build a golf cart in 3 days. It was a fantastic experience working with Tom Miller, Matt Schaefer, Gary Bell, Jeremy Carlson, JT Torres, and you really got to sit down and get your hands dirty and learn from these guys and learn from other people. So that has been one of the most valuable experiences, is learning from other installers, which I really, really, really can't explain enough that guys really should go and do that. And you should go to places, like I've gone, which I've also gone to, Knowledge Fest every year for the past 4 years, and taken classes from different people, and that is the best way to learn. That's how I've learned it, and that's my installation education. At Mobile Toys Inc., the role of trainer is held by me. I have 24 years of industry experience, which is more than everyone else on my staff combined. So inevitably, the practices and techniques and principles of our industry emanate from me down to everyone else. I work directly with my installation staff, teaching them new installation practices and fabrication techniques. We hold a morning training session every other week, as well as nightly sessions if the guys want to stay after late and work with me. I encourage every one of my installers to learn and expand their skill base and to stay after hours to learn these tricks, because the best way to learn stuff is to get your hands in there and just get them dirty and learn how to do it. Over the past year, I have become MECP certified again and have made it one of my priorities to get everyone on my staff certified. To encourage our installers to become certified, I've purchased each and every one of them a study book, held after-hours training sessions, paid for testing at our flagship stores. The cool thing is that I've actually been able to get 2 more of our guys certified, which is fantastic. The past year, I took 2 of my installers to Knowledge Fest so they could participate in trainings. This coming year, I'll be sending 2 of our techs to Mobile Solutions for advanced fabrication training, as well as teaching in those classes. Teaching the younger crop of installers, as well as my own employees and staff, is one of the most important jobs that I have. I have a responsibility as an elite installer to help teach, motivate, and expand my employees and fellow installers' skill base in this industry. Over the past year, my activities in the industry have kept me on the road more than in any other year. And that's saying a lot because I've always been very active in our industry. Training others in the industry has been my focus for quite some time. I have participated and helped at 2 sessions and trainings at Mobile Solutions in Arizona. Presently, I am scheduled to be a guest speaker at a 3rd class in September of this year. At Knowledge Fest in Indianapolis, I helped Orca Designs run their booth while teaching classes with Nick Wingate, Ken Ward, and Brian Schmidt. At Knowledge Fest in Dallas of this year, I will be helping train fellow installers on DSP at the soundscaping event before the start of the show. During Knowledge Fest in Dallas, I'll be teaching a class on bracket fabrication with JT Torres, a class with Matt Schaefer and Brian Schmidt on production high end, and 2 live DSP training classes with Nick Wingate of Orca Designs. On top of all this, we will be debuting 3 demo cars in booths for Orca Designs, Kenwood, and Sounds Digital. In April of this past year, I helped sponsor the training for the new IASCA judges in Dallas with Nick Wingate, James Feltberger, and Mo Samboran. For the 5th year in a row, we have held the Aggieland Invitational at our store, giving away $5,000 in cash to the top 10 cars. We had over 50 entries and 70 cars that came from as far away as Mexico and Florida. This event has quickly become the sound quality event in the industry. On that same note, I'm also traveling to Georgia to judge the SQology event and the Steel Valley Regional event in West Virginia in August. During the past year, I have continued to head up my role as the head of Orca's competition sound team. We have competed at a high level at many events from Texas to Florida. This requires me to help others tune cars as well as helping our customers maintain their competition cars. I am also heavily involved with Orca Designs and Audible Physics and DB Drive testing new products for them. I have also helped run Orca Designs CES booth for the past year. I network with fellow installers by staying extremely active in social media. I make multiple posts to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I post images of installs we were working on while also answering questions from fellow installers. Over the past year, I've begun posting fabrication tips in a how-to form on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. These are accompanied with pictures and a step-by-step account of how to actually achieve the desired result or install that you're doing. These are reposted on Fab Nation, Car by Colt, and Mobile Solutions VIP Techs. My phone and messaging accounts are constantly abuzz with installers asking questions, and I have to answer them all. Ask my wife, I stay up all night answering questions. It's my job to help everyone that I can. I also network with fellow installers at Knowledge Fest, Mobile Solutions, car audio competitions, and car shows all over the United States. Over the years, I've won 36 car audio championships for sound quality competitions at the national level, competing in IASCA and USAC sound quality events. I have won the expert class 12 times in IASCA and USAC, beating greats like Gary Biggs, Mark Eldridge, and Brian Mitchell. I have become MECP certified over the past year, which is pretty exciting because it's been a number of years since I've actually sat down and took the test. Since 2007, I've been a part of ME Magazine's Top 12 Installers 6 times, including a runner-up finish last year in 2016. My proudest moment is definitely receiving my bachelor's degree from Texas A&M University from the College of Architecture. To be Installer of the Year, it requires a commitment to the 12-volt industry, fellow installation professionals, and your customers. This doesn't start the month they announce they are accepting nominations. It starts the day after their previous awards are done. To be Installer of the Year, you must commit to helping everyone in our industry, teaching fellow installers and technicians the ways to better themselves and their career. Making others better is your top priority. On top of this, you must be committed to excellence in the Bay. You must turn out amazing project after amazing project and help raise the bar. You must be better every day than the day before. You must raise your level of execution so you can raise the level of everyone else around you. You must be innovative and push the envelope. To be the Installer of the Year, you must be an ambassador of our industry who is willing to sacrifice personal gains for the betterment of others. In my humble opinion, I have done all this and more. I have traveled all over the country helping to train fellow installers and industry professionals. My availability to anyone and everyone in the industry has been complete and total. No matter what product you represent, sell, or back, I have been there to help. No matter what shop you come from or work at, I have been available for tech support or help, or to even machine parts and send them out to them. I have helped fellow installers advance their knowledge and skill set about new installation techniques and machining processes using the CNC router and laser. All this while turning out a mountain of amazing work. I have turned out the best work of my entire career, all the while helping others around me grow and expand their skill set. And no matter what the outcome, I will continue to do this. It is how I have been year after year after year. I am here to help the industry grow, expand, and bring forth the next generation of installation technicians. This is why I should be Installer of the Year.
Hey guys, my name is Brian Schmidt. I'm with Mobile Solutions. We'd like to nominate Chris Pate this year as Installer of the Year. Chris is one of those guys that we feel is in the top rankings of all the stuff that he needs to do to be #1 this year. As a business owner, as a top fabricator, Chris does an excellent job at producing high-end work at a fast level. It's really something to look at and recognize. Chris is also an amazing guy. His character is first class, and we wish him the best this year. So our hats off to Chris. We hope you win. Take care. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Hector Mena, Rep Principal of Momentum Marketing in Texas, and I just wanted to make this video in support of Christopher Pate for Installer of the Year. I think this is a no-brainer, people. I mean, for you guys who know who Christopher Pate is, and you know his work ethic, you know his just pursuit of perfection, and his willingness to always learn and to take advice, to get the latest tools and equipment to make sure that his projects are top notch and that he can implement new techniques and new designs and just the latest and greatest facets and skill sets to every project. You know that he's so deserving. He's up at 3 o'clock in the morning, getting no sleep, making sure that his customers get the absolute best finished product possible. And so for those reasons, I think that really Chris Pate is a no-brainer for Install of the Year. But I would also say he's one of those guys who's just a stand-up character. He's a man of his word. He comes through on his promises, and he's also one of those guys who gives back, you know, giving of his time and his talent and his knowledge to others to make sure that the industry as a whole just gets better. So for all those reasons, Chris, I hope you get it. You're definitely deserving. Good luck to you, bud.
My name is Pete Daly with Marketing Pros out of Texas. I don't know of a more deserving person than Chris Pate to earn 2017 Installer of the Year. His fabrication is only limited to his imagination on what to build. His ability to take dreams and make them come to actual finished product is like no one that I've ever serviced as a rep or in my industry tenure of 26 years. He has the ability to mentor fresh young installers and make master fabricators out of them. I've just never seen anything like it. His attachment to the community, his family, and to the industry to give back, I truly admire. Chris is a great friend, influential to me in a lot of my everyday decisions, and is my Installer of the Year every year.
Hi, my name is Scott Buwalda, and I'm the founder and CEO of Hybrid Audio Technologies. I'm here on vacation in Panama City Beach, literally taking this video from the beach because now I thought it would be a good opportunity to endorse Chris Pate for the honor of Installer of the Year for 2017. I've known Chris for about a dozen years now, and in that period of time, I've seen his installation techniques evolve and grow, and Chris is definitely at the top of his game. I don't think there'd be a better candidate at this point for the Installer of the Year for 2017. Please accept this as my official endorsement for Chris Pate. Thank you.
This is Andrew Evans, the Industry Auto Designs. And as far as the 12-volt industry goes, Chris Pate has my vote for Top Installer 2017.
I vote for Chris Pate to be the Installer of the Year for 2017 because this guy is more than willing to help out anybody in the industry that needs help. He's a great guy. I vote for him. Charles Stewart.
What's up, everybody? It's Dave Kaz giving a couple reasons why I believe Christopher Pate should be Installer of the Year this year. There's nobody in the industry that hasn't made Installer of the Year already that puts more effort, time, dedication into the industry. Always willing to give a helping hand even when not needed. Always insightful and extremely intelligent on all the responses. And the work that he puts out is top-notch, unsurpassed to anybody in my eyes.
Hey everyone, Elias with Safe and Sound here, talking today about Chris Pate and why he should be Installer of the Year for 2017. For as long as I've known Chris, I can tell you he is genuinely one of the nicest guys, most humble guys in the industry. He is one of the most hardworking guys that I know, always working around the clock, morning to night, night to morning, you pick. This guy's always committed to what he does, committed to his customers, committed to his industry peers. If you message this guy or call this guy at any time of the 24 hours in the day, guarantee you'll get a response. This guy loves his stuff. You can't get this guy away from his shop or his fab room or helping his guys, his peers, helping his customers. This guy is the real deal. Check him out. Chris Pate, Installer of the Year 2017.
Gary Bell from Defiant Concepts here. Just wanted to leave you a quick message about Christopher Pate and his amazing run for Installer of the Year this year. Chris has put a lot of effort into upping his game. He was already, obviously, with last year's voting, he was already right up there last year and just went above and beyond this year to push himself and do everything he could to be a better installer and a better role model for other installers. That, in addition to getting to work side by side with him this past year at Mobile Solutions on a project, just solidified it for me that there is no other choice for Installer of the Year this year. So I'm 100% behind Chris this year. Thank you.
I nominated Chris Pate for Installer of the Year 2017 because Chris is an amazing installer. He is a great business owner, extremely creative, extremely thoughtful and helpful to others in the industry. Chris runs an amazing business inside and out. He gives back to our industry, putting on amazing sound competitions year after year. He's always there at all the major events, building demo cars, customer cars left and right. He's been knocking them out like crazy this year. That little CNC machine he's got has truly been put to use. We can see that every day on Instagram and Facebook. Chris, I hope you win this year, dude. You deserve it. Good luck, bro. See you in Dallas.
Hey everybody, it's Nick Wingate here. I've been asked to basically give a good reason why as to Chris Pate should win Installer of the Year. And I can think of quite a few of them, as a matter of fact. First and foremost in my mind is that what Chris has accomplished over the past year, be it working on show cars, be it storing older cars like 40s and 50s and 60s and bringing them back to life, or he was designing Insomnia, the SPL/SQ vehicle they worked on night and day for more days than I really care to think about. I look at an accomplishment of what the body work that Chris has put together this year. And I can't think of anybody else that has done more with less hours and pushed the envelope more than Chris Pate. He has done things in the shortest amount of time that people have given him than should be possible by the average everyday ordinary installer, which he is not by any stretch of the imagination. He's done all this while he's also running a store. That's what gets me, is he's not just an installer, he's also a store manager and takes care of his entire store. So that's pretty amazing. And that would be enough, but he also has given back to our industry. You think about how many times Chris has posted online on Facebook of a technique, or showing everybody how to use a laser, or how to use the CNC router, or some new technique that he thought of, and is actually just giving back to the industry with it. Now, not everybody does that, and I think that given the body of work that he has done this year, we take into account every single solitary thing he's done. I can't think of another person that, quite frankly, is worthy of getting it. So there you go. It's my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth. Thank you.
Why do I think Chris Pate should be Installer of the Year? Here's a few reasons. He's a great ambassador for our industry. He's a great teacher. He's passionate. He's driven. And it shows in his unique designs and his work ethics.
Hey guys, this is Jeremy Cass from JK Automotive Designs in Boston. Here to nominate Chris Pate for 2017 Installer of the Year. Chris is one of the hardest working guys I know. He's multi-talented, he understands fabrication, he understands integration, he understands how to deal with clients, he understands how to treat cars correctly. He's always trying to improve himself, which is great. I look up to Chris. If I ever need help, I can rely on Chris to help. I've worked with Chris on a couple projects, and he is by far one of the hardest working installers I've ever met in my life, and people for that matter. For those reasons, I nominate Chris Pate for Installer of the Year. I can't think of anybody else that deserves it more than him.
Good morning guys, it's Jeremy Carlson. Just got back from my early morning gym session. Gonna put a few hours in at work now. I want to talk to you about dedication. Whether it be my gym life, my work life, my career, I've always been dedicated. I've been dedicated to my career as far as the people, about my product that I turn out, my work ethic. I've been dedicated. About a year ago, Chris Pate came to me and said, Jeremy, I want to win Installer of the Year. What's it going to take to get to the next level? Obviously, it's dedication. And the next thing I told him was, be better today than you were yesterday. And whatever that means, just be better today than you were yesterday. Whether that means reading something online, becoming better. Whether that means talking to a friend on the phone and learning something and becoming better. Anything you do in life, always be better today than yesterday. And I think Chris really took that to heart. He's been a sponge. I've seen Chris more on social media. I've seen him giving advice now to others. I've seen Chris take advice still from others, asking questions. I've seen Chris attending Mobile Solutions to better his craft. He's already at the top of his game, but by attending these trade shows and attending these trainings shows me that he's really wanting to become better today than he was yesterday. In my opinion, there's not a better candidate for Installer of the Year this year. There's not a better person out there who executes at the level that Chris does, but will take the time and answer questions to anybody that calls, social media questions, text messages, etc. What Chris has done on his fab life and his business life, I think has transcended into his home life. I see the vacations he still finds time to take with his family. He still posts pictures of his wife, his daughters. We all know that I'm a big family guy, and I really respect that about Chris as well. When I think about Installer of the Year, and I look at the past 5, 6, maybe 10 years of Installers of the Year, I think Chris definitely deserves to be the next one. He follows the criteria that I look for every year as I'm looking for my favorite or my pick for the year. Please take the time and consider Chris Pate for Installer of the Year. Thank you.
Hey everyone, Mark Eldridge here. Man, we've got an outstanding top 12 installer group this year. Each of them deserves our recognition and appreciation for the work they do, their accomplishments, and their positive representation of our industry. You guys are all awesome, thank you. This year, Chris Pate is one of the 12 up for Installer of the Year, and man, what a great choice he would be to represent our industry and what we do. He is one of the very best fabricator installers we have. Just take a look at and listen to the beautiful systems he's created. His success with his retail customers, manufacturers, and car audio competitors speaks for itself. But he does so much more than just install amazing mobile electronic systems. Chris has a rare passion for all things music and audio, and he brings them all together in what he does every day. As a musician, an installer, store owner, installation team leader, teacher and instructor, show promoter, and a car audio competitor, that's a bunch of stuff. He connects everything from beginning to end of every part of the process of design, fabrication, tuning, and sale of the audio system, as well as following up after the sale with his customers to make sure they're happy with what they have. He owns an amazing store, Mobile Toys, in College Station, and draws customers from around the country to Aggieland, where they know it will be done right. Chris gives his customers they can enjoy on any level they choose, from an audiophile driving to work, to a family on the road needing entertainment, to someone wanting to go to a car show and show off a beautiful system, to a sound quality competitor wanting to enter sound quality competition lanes. Chris enables each of his customers to get the most from the vehicles and the systems he creates. He shares his knowledge with others through teaching classes here at Knowledge Fest and elsewhere through manufacturers' trainings. That's really important. And Chris has proven himself in the car audio competition lanes with his own vehicles and with those he's created for others. The challenge of competition lanes has always been one of the most important areas for building installation knowledge and skills. Chris's vehicles consistently win at the highest levels. As well, he actively promotes car audio through event support, including the Aggieland Invitational he hosts each year, the most important sound quality event of the year for the past 5 years running, in my opinion. These events consistently drive other installers and competitors from all over the country and around the world to push harder to make their own audio systems sound better, not just pushing himself, but driving others to do the same. That's important too. And you know, most of us can say we do some of these things, only a very few can say they do them all. Blending his creative passions from beginning as a musician all the way through to the end where we get to enjoy the results of these amazing audio systems, Chris brings it. You got my support, Chris. My best to you and all the other top 12 installers this year. Cheers.
I had the opportunity to work with Chris last year at the Mobile Solutions Hot Rod class, and so I got to see him work firsthand, side by side, and that's, I think, the best way to ever get to know how, you know, somebody's real work, not just what they post online or their real work ethic. And I was blown away by this dude. Chris is amazing, and I know he's been doing this a long time, and it definitely shows when you see the kind of work that he does and you get to see him do his work firsthand. He's extremely meticulous, he's detail-oriented, he works with a lot of precision, and these are the things that I really respect about Chris. I think he's a phenomenal, well-rounded, all-around installer, fabricator, technician, business owner. You know, he wears a lot of hats, and so I got a lot of respect for this guy. I think he would definitely be a good choice for Installer of the Year for this year, and you know, I wish him the best of luck. Wish you the best of luck, Chris, and we'll see you later.